Hi, this is Christine again. I'd like to welcome you to the mini series of Christine, or the mini experiences of Christine, the MINI. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have some new experiences, and you can label this video as being mini series number 2. And I'd like to start at a visitation that occurred one night after I had finished a prayer and fasting. I was coming off of a fast, and so as I said before in my first video concerning the mini series, that I would first of all read about the story. I prefer to just tell them, but a lot of times I may miss some important details. So just be patient with me. I'm going to begin it right now. My next visitation occurred one night in my bedroom at my parents' house, and I had been praying and fasting. And as I lay down on my bed, I heard a voice that spoke out into the room. Here's something for a rainy day. And I felt an object. It felt like a snow cone in my hand. And I could not see it being pushed into my hands, but my hands were laying on my stomach like this, and the cup was put down inside of my hand. And I just gripped it together as I was laying there on my stomach. And I jumped up all of a sudden and I said, "Who is that?" And of course, I realized that it was an angel. I mean, I'd been having so many supernatural attacks at that time that I really had at first thought maybe it was some type of an evil spirit, but I didn't discern anything evil. And as soon as I jumped up, the Lord made me to know that it was indeed an angel. And ever since that day, I often asked the Lord, what was it? And I've had many rainy days in which I asked the Lord to use the blessing that He gave to me that time for a rainy day. But I always insist that if it's His will and the time to use the blessing, to let it be done. But if not, perhaps the blessing is for the future. And okay, so that is the end of the first short story. How many have had experiences like that, where the Lord has given you a gift and He has placed things in objects in your hand, and He has said things to let you know that He is ever mindful of you and that He is also right there with you? I just thought it was so lovely. And to this day, as I said, I keep asking to use the blessing, but I get the feeling that that blessing is for a mightier occasion after knowing the things that I've learned now down through the years. I'd like to say that in the series, this particular mini series, or these particular series that I am doing on my experiences, that if I mention a date, it does not mean that that was the day of my salvation. I have been saved for 27 years already, and seeking the Lord before then, before He revealed Himself to me and filled me with His Holy Spirit. But I will mention those days because I have a habit sometime, always, of writing down the date and the hour that I do all of my writings, and also drawings. That's another topic concerning Abraham's bosom and the great white throne. Those are two more of my videos. Now, let us continue on to the second story. In order to tell this story, I must first tell you that my husband and I were standing on our porch. And at the beginning of a 40-day fast, when I started to see the Lord in the spirit, that's where we were standing on the porch. And I could see the Lord. He was seated. He walked over and he sat down at a chair. And as he sat down at a chair, he began to do something to his feet, as though he was girding his feet, as though he was preparing to go somewhere or to come somewhere. So when I saw it, I was thinking to myself, wow, he must be getting ready to come back now. But then I realized that the Antichrist had not yet come. So I thought about that some more, and I said, well, it looks like he's getting ready to come, and he just kept looking at me, and then he kept doing something to his shoes. So I told my husband, I said, honey, I see the Lord and he's looking at me. I said, he has on a white garment and a white prayer shawl across his shoulder. And he did. And I told my husband that I saw him when he walked over to the chair and sat down, and that it appeared that he was coming, preparing to come somewhere. And I thought, wow, he must be showing me that he's soon to come. I also remembered his word that he wouldn't come again until his words were fulfilled. And like I said, of course, the Antichrist had not made his showing. Well, it was about 3 days later, after I had completed the 40-day fast, that my husband and I were standing in our home with our backs to the front door entrance. And I heard a loud clicking sound as if a door had been opened. But I've got to tell you, the door sound was the sound of a huge, gigantic door clicking as it was being opened. And it was indeed a huge, huge door. And so I looked back, and to my surprise, I saw this giant white door that had opened. And in walked the Lord. The Lord walked in through the door. He had on that same white garment, same white robe, and it fitted snugly, and it flared out sort of from the bottom. And he walked, and as he was walking across the floor, he was looking like just coming in, walking. And I'm looking at him, and I turned back and I said, there's Father, there's Father. I just said, there's Father, there's Father. And my husband, he turned and he looked too. And I remember he said to me, he says, yes, he wants you to see him. And so I have to tell you, it wasn't until about almost a year later that my husband and I were having a conversation that I realized that my husband had saw him, because I was so excited that I never considered that my husband really saw him. But my husband saw him too. So to my surprise, we share that together now. And so amongst many other supernatural experiences. And so getting back to what I was thinking. So as Father was walking into the room, I turned my face away and I thought to myself, I can't tell my husband because he probably can't see it. I just assumed he just can't see it because I'm usually the one that's telling him about the angels and all kinds of things that I'm seeing. And and he's such a humble man, such a sweet man. And he's always just assuring me and blessing me and rejoicing together with me for every experience and different things that the Lord is always doing. And so I don't know, I just didn't think that he saw the Lord for some reason. And so I stood there and I began to pray out loud as my husband is accustomed to me praying in a moment's notice. And so I looked back again and he was standing there as if he was waiting for me to acknowledge him like my husband had said. And he was wearing the same white garment again that I saw him wearing at the beginning of the 40-day fast. And after I acknowledged him and I turned around and acknowledged him, he proceeded into the same room that we were in. And I looked at him and a smile came to my face and I said, Father. But he is so beautiful. And to look at him is to love him and to see that he is without any fault. Even his mannerism, the way that he walks, there is nothing wicked or evil about him. He walks with a surety and comfort, and he's just adorable. And at that time, I wanted to know what color his hair was. He heard me when I was thinking to myself. I said, all of that, the things that I had heard about his hair, the drawings that I've seen, I must tell you that Father, really, I've seen him in a lot of drawings and a lot of different types of artwork. And people want to make him, or he has appeared to them and they say that he is very tall, but I must tell you that he is not tall. Father is not tall. He is handsome. He is the best looking man that's ever been created. He is without blemish. His skin is beautiful. His eyes are beautiful. His hair is beautiful. He turns so that I could even see the exact color of his hair. And I have a video that's coming up soon that is called "What Color is God?" And I will share with you and his appearance and the way that he appeared to me, including the color of his hair, what color he is, and everything that he